let's say we want to lengthen in the body. I want to understand first how the garment sits on your body and then how it affects the structure. So let's say that this is our jacket. The jacket is intended to hit your... I'm ignoring the sleeves at the moment because the body is what's important. So the body is supposed to hit your about waistline. And when the hip begins, we get wider. Sorry for the weird proportions here. Okay, so the hip begins to get wider, and the jacket is not designed to accommodate your wide hip. So I would not add more than a few centimeters, very few inches to the length. High hip is the best line to lengthening, like up to your really high hip. I would suggest to add not more than 2 inches or 5 centimeters to the length. So this is just because it's not wide enough for any more. And there's another reason. So if we see the shaping of the garment, we have these two waves and the buttons. If we are going to lengthen the garment, it's going to take everything lower. So let's see how it affects the body. And this is the differences between the small sizes and the large sizes. The small sizes, if we take a look at the neck, are really close at the neck. And the large sizes, because we need more height here, to the body, a little bit to the body, a little bit to the armhole. So the neck is pushed down because we still have the shaping. This is the difference. So in large sizes, the neck will be lower because everything is pushed down. And this is your solution for adding length. If you add length to the body, it means you push the 2 full repeats down and you add more fabric. So take into consideration, you also have a limit to how low you want your neckline to be. When you add length, you want to add it before the underarm split, because you don't want to affect the armhole height or depth. So we have 2 options to do that, and you can combine both. So if you work the smaller sizes, you can add up to 2 inch or 5 centimeters before you split the armhole. So you have room to lower your neckline that much. But if you work sizes 4 and up, I would add not more than, so let's say that's sizes 1 to 3. And for sizes 4 and up, I would suggest 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters, not more than that. I wouldn't want the neckline to be that low. This means that we are working the measurement that we are supposed to work up to the armhole. Let's say size 4, I'm going to work 8.5 inch or 21.5 to the armhole. I'm going to work 1 inch or 2.5 centimeter more. So I would work 9.5 inch or 23 centimeters, and then I would split the armholes. This means that if let's say I'm working the shaping and I'm getting to this point, and this is where I'm supposed to split the armholes in the shaping. Now I want to add 1 inch. So let's say I add 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters. The shaping continues, and now my armhole is here. Let's finish the shaping and add the neckline bind off. So if the armhole, the original armhole was supposed to be here, this is where my neck was supposed to be. But now I took it, I added 2.5 centimeters or 1 inch before the armhole, but the armhole stays the same height. So my shoulder will be here and my neckline will be deeper. This is the meaning of adding more height before we split the armhole. Okay? And it's okay to do that. Now, if we want to add a little more length and we don't want the neckline to go even deeper, you can also use the stretching in the blocking. So first you want to test it with your swatch. Take your swatch, the same swatch you did to measure the gauge. You're going to put it in water for about half an hour, and then you take it out, you squeeze it, and then you pin it and you stretch it. So let's say we want to add a few centimeters. Just stretch it a little bit and see how much stretch you can get from it. But write down measurement before stretching, and measurement after, and see how much you can add. So let's say that before we have 10 inch and after we have 12 inch. We let the swatch lie a little bit for a few days and see that it doesn't stretch back, bounce back to where it was. And let's say that after a few days we have 2 inches difference. So it means that our yarn can hold a stretch and we can use it in our advantage when we want to add more length. But we need to be careful with it because we need to keep the armhole length. Let's say that I'm making size 3. So I should have worked 8.25 inch, 21 centimeters up to the armhole, and then I had to work 9.5 inch or 24 centimeters up to the shoulder. And I'm planning to add, let's say I'm planning to add 2 inch, maybe 1.5 inch. So it's about 3, let's say 3.5 centimeters. I'm not sure that it's correct, but about, okay, to the total length. So I'm going to stretch it 1.5 inch. This means that the stretch is for all of the garment. So let's say half of it will go to the armhole and half of it will go to the body. So I'm going to reduce half of the amount of stretching from the armhole, let's say 0.75 inch or 1.75 centimeters. I'm going to move this amount of height from the underarm, from the armhole to the body. So I'm going to work the body 0.75 inch more until I split to fronts and backs. So I'm going to have 9 inch to the split of the underarm, or let's say 22.75 centimeters or 22.5 centimeters. Doesn't have to be that precise. Then I'm going to work the underarm, but with the same amount less of height. So that's what, 8.75 inch or 22.25 centimeters about. Okay, this is so I'm adding a half of the stretch to the body and reducing it from the underarm height. Then when I block to measurement. I block the underarm to the original measurement, 9.5 inch, even though I made it smaller. This will give me half of the stretch, and I'm going to stretch the body to the length, the length that I wanted, not the original length. So plus 1.5 inch in total. I'm just making sure that the armhole is in the correct size, because I'm going to add the sleeves and I have to have the same height to the sleeve and to the body. And because it's stretchy, that's fine. I think it would work just fine. You will do the blocking before we sew the sleeve to the body. Just a quick summary. Now that we understand all the things, we can add height to the body and just work the split of the underarms later. But careful, don't add too much, because this deepens the neckline and make it lower. And we can add height by lengthening in blocking, just stretching down a little bit with the blocking. And in this case, we want to half of what we plan to add reduce from the armhole height and add to the body height. And you can do both. You can add 1 inch to the body and then add more to the body and remove it from the underarm. Just write down everything you do. Write down the height that you add, so later on you can plan the blocking according to what you planned. And again, the lower part is less important. It's just important that when you block the underarm to measurements, you block it to the original measurement of the chart, of the diagram. And then the lower body, just stretch it as much as you want. Again, remember not to pass the high hip. So good luck with that, and I hope that you succeed with the stretching and the lengthening.